What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. President Biden wants to raise taxes. And at first, he said it would be just on the wealthy people and corporations, specifically people earning over $400,000. Well, this week, the White House said that they're probably changing that. But also, in addition to that change, there's multiple different changes with the tax rates and tax deductions that President Biden is probably going to change and is probably going to raise your taxes if he gets rid of the Trump Tax Cut Act of 2017. That act had several different provisions in there that I'm going to go over in this video, along with the changes that President Biden wants to make on the tax raises. If he does this, this will likely affect your taxes and make you pay more money in taxes. So you can let me know your thoughts on everything I'm going to tell you, all the details on how this may or may not affect you in this video. Let me know your thoughts on this at the end of the video. First up, in President Biden's campaign, he said he was only going to raise the taxes on corporations, which actually does affect jobs and actually could make you pay a little bit of money there. But he also said he was only going to raise taxes on Americans that earn over $400,000.
We should stop rewarding wealth and start rewarding work a little bit. Let's raise the capital gains tax for people making over $1 million a year to ordinary income. Let's reverse the Trump tax cut. Nobody making under $400,000 would have their taxes raised, period. Bingo.
So you heard him there. He said nobody, unless they earn over $400,000 per year, will be paying more taxes. Period. Bingo. However, it looks like it's probably not going to be the case. Here's the latest change from White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki. This is just the first minor change that we're going to go over. And remember, President Biden has said nobody under $400,000 will be paying more taxes. Well, here's White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki just this week.
It depends on how much money you make. Are you a billionaire? Then you may pay more in taxes than someone making, family making $425. There's going to be a range in any tax proposal. He talked about this on the campaign trail, and he talked about it during this interview last night, in part because it's on his mind about how to ensure people are paying their fair share, and that we are looking for revenue funds to continue to build back better. But I don't have a timeline for you on when you'll hear more. It's just something that he has long had a commitment to, and I expect in the coming months, or sooner than that, you'll hear more about his next stages of his agenda, but this is certainly part of what's on his mind and what he would like to work with Congress on.
He said on taxes that anybody making more than $400,000 will see a small to a significant tax increase. To clarify, did he mean individuals or households? Because it wasn't very clear.
Families.
Okay, these comments come after the president said that anyone making under the $400,000 mark would not be effective. Steve, I want to go straight to you on this because this is a massive issue that will impact families. It was supposed to be the more high-income earners, those that made more than $400,000. Now we're looking at combined incomes, and this could have a real impact. To me, it's another example of the hypocrisy.
So apparently the White House has clarified now, and this actually could affect people making $200,000 each per couple, which is a significant change. However, that's still a small amount of people. Where the tax increase could come from is reducing or getting rid of the Trump tax cuts, also known as the Tax Cuts and Job Act of 2017, signed by President Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump. That's why it's called the Trump tax cuts for short. Well, this reduced tax rates and gave you extra tax deductions all across the board, and President Biden wants to get rid of these.
And folks, on day one, I will move to eliminate Trump's tax cuts as well for the super wealthy.
And as you've seen there, President Biden says he wants to remove the Trump tax cuts on day one. Well, we know he wasn't able to remove them on day one, but he's said dozens of times since then he wants to get rid of the Trump tax cuts. Here's why this is a problem for you, is that there's multiple provisions in the Trump tax cuts for lower and middle income Americans, multiple different provisions that reduced your taxes, how much you pay. Here is some of the most important. Number one, as you can see here, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act lowered tax rates, but it kept 7 income tax brackets. The brackets correspond with more favorable spans of income. each bracket accommodates more income. As you can see here, before 2017, the lowest tax rate was 10%. That stayed the same. However, for the tax bracket, the second tax bracket between $9,700 and $39,000, which is basically lower and middle income Americans, the Trump tax cuts reduced taxes from 15% to 12%. So literally reduced your taxes by 3% there. Then in the next tax bracket from 39,000 to 84,000, as you can see here, it reduced that tax bracket as well from 25% to 22%. So if you're in this tax bracket, you're saving 3% here and 3% there, effectively round numbers, 6%. Also in the third tax bracket was reduced by another 4%, 84,000 to 160,000. The fifth tax bracket was reduced by 1%. This is where we start to get in the high earners. The 200,000 to 500,000 bracket was mostly unchanged. It went from 33 point to 35% to 35%, and the highest income was reduced by 2.6%. But as you can see here, lower and middle income tax brackets were reduced by 3 to 4%, as you can see right here. If Biden gets rid of this and the Trump tax cuts in its entirety, well, you would be paying anywhere from 3 to 4% more per tax bracket for possibly multiple different tax brackets. If you're in all three of these tax brackets, you're looking at a 3% hike here, a 3% hike here, and a 4% hike here if Biden gets rid of these. However, this is really just the start of the Trump tax cuts. That's the reducing of the actual income tax brackets. It's pretty easy to understand. It's literally taking the percentage of tax you would pay and reducing it by 3 to 4% for those lower to middle income tax brackets. That's pretty easy to understand. If they get rid of that, your taxes instantly go up by 3 to 4% for each of those tax brackets that you might be in. However, the Trump tax cuts also had multiple different deductions that actually affect lower and middle income families also. Here they are. Here's some of the deductions that the Trump tax cuts basically helped out with your taxes, paying less taxes for lower and middle income Americans. Taxpayers who claim the standard deduction. Google says that the Urban Brookings Tax Policy Center estimates that about 90% of households will take the standard deduction rather than itemizing their deductions on their tax returns in 2018. Here's why this is important. In the Trump tax cuts, you'll win on two different levels if you claim the increased standard deduction because it's bigger than your itemized deductions. First, it will reduce your taxable income more than past years. Second, you can skip the complicated process of itemizing. That not only saves you time, but it'll also save you money if you no longer have to pay a tax advisor. As you can see here, President Donald Trump signed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act on December 22nd, 2017. It cut individual tax rates and doubled the standard deduction. So it literally doubled this entire deduction. So it literally doubled the standard deduction that 90% of households claim. How much does that mean to you? As you can see here, the standard deduction was nearly doubled from $6,350 in 2017 to $12,000 in 2018. That is an extra deduction for 90% of Americans of $5,650 every single tax season, an additional $5,650 tax deduction. So the real question is, will we see Biden get rid of even more tax cuts from the Trump tax acts or other tax cuts that are already in law and raise taxes in addition to this across the board by getting rid of the Trump tax cuts, as well as the other things we discussed that could happen? Now, if you're thinking that the Democrats can't pass this bill without Republicans, well, you might be wrong on that also. And this is because normally to pass a normal bill in the Senate, you need 60 votes because of the filibuster rule. However, the Democrats have already gotten around that with the last stimulus package, with the reconciliation process, where they pass it with just a simple majority of 50 to 51 votes. They can actually do this with tax cuts and getting rid of tax cuts probably because, well, the main rule to pass something with the reconciliation process is it needs to affect the federal budget. While raising or lowering taxes would affect the federal budget, which means in theory, Democrats could include this in the next stimulus package, which they've already announced, called the Build Back Better package, which will be an infrastructure package. And we already have dozens of Democrats pushing for not just one stimulus check in that next package, but multiple stimulus checks in that package. I cover stimulus checks and stimulus packages on this channel, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet so you don't miss out on upcoming stimulus check videos and all the other stimulus provisions that are on the horizon. However, they also could include the tax increases or getting rid of the Trump tax cuts, likely in a bill like the infrastructure bill, because it would probably pass the reconciliation rule. But in addition to that, Democrats, dozens of them actually in the Senate and the House, are trying to get rid of the filibuster rule, which currently makes it so 60 people in the Senate need to pass a bill, except for when they pass them through reconciliation. If they're able to get rid of the filibuster rule, which President Biden actually just kind of changed his mind about this week and said he would be willing to have the Democrats get rid of the filibuster rule and just go down to a talking filibuster rule, which is the way it used to be, which basically means if you don't have the 60 votes, you can only delay the bill for as long as you're on the Senate floor talking. So basically only for a matter of a few hours, maybe a day at the most per person. Right now, the bill is if you don't have 60 votes, you can delay it indefinitely forever until you get the 60 votes. So if they go down to even the talking filibuster, which would be a huge reduction of the filibuster, it basically means the filibuster would be gone and Democrats could pass any bill they wanted in its entirety, whether they're stimulus bills, tax raising bills, immigration bills, or any type of bill at all, with a simple majority vote of 50 votes in the Senate, which the tiebreaker would then go to the Vice President Kamala Harris for the 51st vote. Well, of course, Republicans, and especially Mitch McConnell, who used to be the Senate Majority Leader, are absolutely furious that this could even happen, saying that they didn't do this when they had the simple majority under the previous former President Donald Trump's regime. And if they get rid of the filibuster, Mitch McConnell says that this will be a scorched earth Senate if the Democrats eliminate the filibuster. But this would be in its entirety going forward. So even Republicans in the future, if and when they take back the Senate at any given point, remember the Senate is a 50-50 tie, 50 Democrats, 50 Republicans. So in the next Senate election, which is in less than 2 years, if the Republicans take back even one seat, then they would have the advantage of not having the filibuster rule if the Democrats are able to pass it. Let me know your thoughts on all these potential tax raises that could happen. Do you think they will affect lower and middle income Americans? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Also, as I said, I cover all sorts of stimulus news on here. The third stimulus check package, whether you've gotten your $1,400 or not. The next stimulus package coming up, the fourth stimulus package known as the Build Back Better package, which has already been announced. We already have dozens of Democrats pushing for monthly stimulus checks in there. We also covered the $10,000 of student loan forgiveness that President Biden said he is willing to do at least $10,000 of student loan forgiveness. $200 per month Social Security increase that President Biden wants, $15,000 home tax buyer credit, mortgage assistance, rental assistance, property tax assistance, and utility assistance that was just passed in the third stimulus check package. So if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new updates on all of this stimulus packages as well as potential tax hikes in the future. I will keep you up to date. Click the bell icon after subscribing to get notifications to all notifications when we go live. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have dozens of students that have replaced their 9-to-5 income selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. And me and my wife sell products on Amazon as well. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.